Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening and a warm welcome to the Red and Blue Review. My name is Nick Philpott. I'm your host for the next hour or so. And joining me tonight, I've got a whole plethora of co-hosts, presenters joining me, and also some blasts from the past as well. We kick off with my old wingman. How are you, Joe? You all right, mate?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. Well, it was. See, shouldn't have come back, should I?
We missed you. Happy New Year to you, bud.
Yeah, and to you, to everyone else.
Tim, welcome again, mate. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. I forgot to put the black armband on, but yeah, doing good.
Good. Theresa Baker, we haven't seen you for a while. Where you been?
Working. Someone's got to keep these A&Es going, you know, allegedly.
Good girl. Good girl. And he's back, ladies and gentlemen. People have been asking me in the chats, where is Ian Lyons? We've missed him so much. Well, you lot might have done. I haven't. Welcome, Lyonsy. How are you, mate?
Welcome. Well, thank you for having me back for a start, and Happy New Year to everyone. Yeah, all good. Apart from obviously the content of tonight's show, but yeah, all good.
Yeah, so we'll come on to that. Coming up with tonight's show, so we wanted a cup run. We're out the Carabao Cup. Now we're out the FA Cup. Probably Wilf's last chance in a Palace shirt for any silverware. Who can blame him for wanting to do the off, eh? Who can blame him? Ambition at the beginning of the season was going to be top half, okay? Then we get stuffed by Fulham and Spurs at home. Who's to blame, ladies and gentlemen? Is it the manager? Is it the players? Is it the board? We're going to spend the next hour discussing that. We will touch on the two games, the Southampton Cup game and the Spurs fixture as well, but we are going to pick the bones, and this is your opportunity, everybody out in Facebook land. Give us your views. So I can see you all going through, saying hello to everybody, including Clark Samuel, who I'm just coming on to now. Okay, but give us your full views in the chat. Let us in detail, and we will read, well, more importantly, Tim will read the best ones out this evening. But before any of that, don't forget to follow us on all of our socials, on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube. And most importantly of all, if those of you youngsters out there that have got that thing on screen called Instagram, I haven't got a clue. Our Instagram account is run by Tom Clark Samuel, who works tirelessly in the background. Please like, share, or do whatever it is you do with it, okay? But also, he puts a lot of content on there every week, and I'll be ever so grateful if you would like anything that he puts up and share it or whatever you do. Like, share, follow, whatever it is you do. Get involved, please. Every single comment that we see, Tim will be reading out in the chat this evening. So where are we going to start, people? It's been a tough. Well, I think it goes back to November, really. Even before the World Cup break, what we had, one win then, and that was the Bournemouth game. It's tough. Joe, I'll just like you to summarise what your views are on the performances, not the individual results, just the performance levels over the last few weeks, mate.
Well, I mean, we were standing there for the Fulham game and discussing stats, and we were bottom of the Premier League in almost everything. I mean, we get shut down, you know, as in yesterday. Our forward, you know, the other people's forwards shut our players down, make us hurry, make us crap ourselves when we got the ball. We don't seem to do that. We seem to have a little bit of a jog about, might have the odd sprint. Don't do anything. Don't shut the players down. Don't shut the spaces down. We are literally doing next to nothing. And to be honest with you, this next to nothing attitude, or this lackadaisical, because that's what it looks like. It looks lackadaisical, lazy. And we're getting exactly what we deserve. And that is absolutely bugger all. Apart from an hiding, that's what we're getting. So yeah, it's disturbing. It's really disturbing because I know that a mate of mine, Roy, watches this, and he watches it religiously. And he turned around and said that he thought there was something toxic behind the scenes. And I'm almost inclined to agree with him now.
Something toxic says Jill Holyoke. We're gonna go into that a little bit deeper later on in the show. Tim, I'll do for those in a second. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you this evening, and I mean late this evening at 10 to 6, Crystal Palace have sent out a statement, and the statement reads as follows: reference the Man United rearranged fixture. The Premier League have confirmed that the new date for Crystal Palace's home game with Manchester United. Originally, the postponed as a mark of respect following the passing of Her Majesty the Queen in September. The match will now take place on Wednesday, the 18th of January. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Wednesday week. No, next Wednesday. Okay, so you haven't got much time. You haven't got much time. The kickoff is at Selhurst Park and will be a 8 o'clock kickoff. While the league endeavours to give as much notice as possible for rescheduling, the unique circumstances around this fixture has meant that this was not possible. Tickets purchased for the postponed match will be eligible for that date, and if you cannot attend, please contact the box office, and they're obviously put or resell your ticket. So very short notice. It's Wednesday week, which is Wednesday the 18th of January at 8 o'clock. And I'm working. As things stand at the moment, I'm working. Okay, Tim, over to you. Say some hellos, mate.
Yeah, so it's, as you can imagine, the chat's flying through at the moment with various comments. But we've got Renshaw, hi Renshaw, Lee, Chloe, hello Chloe, Facebook user Nathan, Dawn, Paul, John, Dawn again, Jordan, John Knox, Gary Fisher, hi Tom Clark Samuel, Steve, Tony Nichols, yeah, the usual gang really.
Ian, I'm going to come to you in a second, if you don't mind. We're going to start talking about the Spurs game. But just before we do that, I want to talk about how all the other teams did in and around Selhurst Park this weekend. The under-18s played away at table-topping West Ham, who were absolutely ripping it up. And they were soundly beaten 4-0. They conceded in the 7th, 13th, 27th and 84th minute. The next up for our under-18s is Saturday, the 14th of January, 3 o'clock at Motspur Park. The under-21s, they played away at the Brighton, at the Amex Elite Performance Centre, whatever that means. And Palace beat Brighton 4-2, as you can see on the screen. But Brighton did have their keeper sent off after 12 minutes. It's a shame. The next up for the under-21s is on Friday, the 13th of January, Champions Hill kickoff, 1 o'clock in the Premier League. And don't forget, you can watch all of these on the Palace TV Plus. And how did the ladies get on today? Well, the ladies beat Watford 5-1 today at home and Hayes Lane in the Women's FA Cup this afternoon. They will play Durham away in the next round. Good news for Mr. Croucher, who's in the background, and the rest of the North East Exiles. So next up for the women away is Charlton Athletic on Wednesday, the 11th of January at 7:30 in the evening at the Oakwood in the WSL FA Cup. So that's the other teams. Ian, Tottenham at home. Okay, we didn't see, I don't think anybody in the stadium saw what happened in a very short, I think it is, in space of 20 minutes. Give us your overview on that game, please.
Well, I mean, I'd like to echo exactly what Joel said about Fulham, and I think it's, you know, what he was saying is pretty much what I said on the chats as well. And I think a lot of that was carried over, even though we beat a poor Bournemouth. A lot of it was carried over into the Spurs game. I think it was a game, two average sides playing one another, and of course, you know, Spurs come into that 10 games on a run, conceding the first goal. You know, you always know if there's any team out there going through a bad run, they only need to come to us for it to sort it out. Yeah, we should have, and I'm, you know, this is the only time, well, probably the only time I say it tonight, Theresa, but Ayew should have scored. He was straight in front of goal, could have passed it, but it was a tame shot. That aside, you know, we were slow for the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Spurs looked really edgy for that first part of that first half, to be fair. And we grew into the game. But as Joel said, we seem to have this lackadaisical approach. There is no urgency. Fulham closed us down like beasts. Bournemouth didn't. Tottenham didn't. And we just seem to be lazily thinking. It's almost as if they're playing a training game. SA particularly, you know, some of the passes he makes square, and then for someone, a midfielder, to run on and pinch is quite frightening at times. And none of them seem to be under any sort of pressure for their places. And I think a lot of that's down to the squad that we've got at the minute. So obviously 0-0 at half time, and we were probably fortunate not to have gone in front. And then we were just sucker punched soon after in the second half. Ward was left missing, and as soon as you saw Kane rising above his shoulders, you knew that was in the back of the net. And I have to say, their second goal was a superb goal. It was a great pass by Hill into Kane. And, you know, as we were discussing before we went on, that is the difference between the two sides. We had more chances on target in that game. Lloris pulled off more saves than Vincent Gaeta did. But we're not sticking them in the net. None of them got any potency, any accuracy. And when it comes to, conceding shots on target, 8 out of 10 seem to be hitting the back of the net in a minute, and it's really frustrating. I will probably come onto it later as to why we think it may be and what the issues are with the squad, but that seems to have followed us for the past few games. And I'm pleased it happened, to be fair. I'm pleased we got drubbed 4-0 as opposed to losing 3-4 games on the trot 1-0 and people thinking, oh, it'll come right, we're in these games. No, we're not. We're flattering to deceive at a minute, and someone needs to pull their finger out.
Jill?
What amazed me is that we played Fulham without a legit centre forward, and we started against Spurs and we were 3-0 down before we got a centre forward on, right? Which is scandalous, and I don't get the thinking of our staff there, quite literally. And again, I know it's only Southampton, but if you fast forward to the cup game, and Edouard gets one chance and scores, and you're like, it was against a decent, Southampton put a decent side out. We put our supposedly best side out, only because I think he's just gone out there and said, sort it out, you're crap at the moment, sort it out and try and play yourself into a bit of form. I don't understand. I mean, you can go on hearsay about why Mateta wasn't involved. He wasn't even in the squad a couple of games ago, and then I don't know why Edouard, at the beginning of the season, he was matching Wilf goal for goal. I literally don't get it. That guy, he picks the ball up, and his first instinct is to turn around and run towards the goal. Everyone else, apart from Wilf, wants to pass the ball sideways, go backwards, pass the ball sideways. There is. I think there's something fundamentally wrong with the way that we are, that we're playing, and expecting. I hope we can cover the midfield in a minute. I won't rant about the midfield yet, but I hope we can cover that off.
We certainly can, and we're going to be doing. Guys, I'm also reading your comments in the chat, and one of them came through a minute ago about playing players in the wrong position, a la Joel Ward. Ian, carry on, mate, because you wanted to make a point.
Yeah, no, I wholeheartedly agree with Joel. I mean, every time we're on the show together, we seem to be, saying the same things and coming from the same place. Yeah, I agree. I don't understand. I've always liked Edouard. I think Edouard, okay, he's not been on form, hit any sort of regular form since he's been in, but he's not really had a regular run in the side since he's been with us. What I like about him is he's got very good control if we can get him the ball in the right places. This is the problem with our team, and we've said it for years on here, is that it's the service. We can have, the best forward in the world. We can have Harry Kane up front. It's probably a bit different because he'll make his own chances. But if we're playing with a recognised striker up front, we've got to hit them from the wing, and we are not doing it. We've got two wingers that like to bring and drive the ball in themselves rather than set people up. The only person you could probably say likes to throw a cross in is Elise, but that's when he can be bothered to run the ball down and when they've got possession, because otherwise he's just standing around waiting for the ball to be given to him, lackadaisical again, turned it over, and then won't do much about getting it back.
Okay, well, Tim, I'm coming to you next. Ian, I'm going to come back on to what you were saying in a second about Elise and being lazy and when he can be bothered. Theresa, talk me through your thoughts on the dodgy photographs Jordan Ayew has got of Patrick Vieira, because Patrick Vieira plays him week in, week out at the expense of what those guys have just been talking about, playing a proper recognised striker. Bearing in mind he's scored 1 goal in 93 games or whatever it is.
Oh, I have always been a supporter of Jordan Ayew just because of his work ethic. He works hard on the pitch. That's why Vieira puts him on there. I didn't say he was a striker. I don't believe that he should play as a striker. I never said that. But what I've always supported him for is his work ethic. And when he's on that pitch, he runs and runs and runs, and he does work hard. Thank you, John CPFC, for agreeing with me. And I don't think any of you can dispute that.
No. I don't think anybody is. What we need is a goal scorer. In fact, to underline your point, Theresa, Joe and I were standing. It was the Fulham game, wasn't it? And I actually gave him a dig in the ribs. Well, I say ribs, but I've never found his ribs, obviously. I gave him a dig, and I actually said to him, who's the one working hardest at the moment? And he was, at that time, Jordan Ayew. And you're quite right. Joel, and then I'm coming to you, Tim.
He had a great 20 minutes. But that's it. He had the first 20 minutes where he terrorised them and then went, what am I doing? I'm playing really, really well. And then that was it. He just literally capitulated like the rest of them. Walks around. We turned around and stood there, Nick, and we was going, look at him. He's not even if he marks space, I'm not going to single out Jordan Ayew. I'm not going to single him out. I've got a couple of things about him. Look, stat for stat. If you want to play him up, he scores 1 in every 50 chances. 1 in 50. Benteke was crap, and he was better than that. And then putting him up front. Honestly, I think what they're doing, I can't understand why they're playing him up front. I don't get it. He cannot be the best striker. He can't be the best striker if he went down to the under-21s. I just don't get why Patrick and Ocean are playing him like that. I'm not going to bash Ayew, because I think there's 2, 3, 4 players before him that need to have an absolute kick in the arse, much more than him, because, like you say, he does chase about. He does. He has effort, but we have got 4 players at the moment.
And the most important thing tonight is this is not going to be an Ayew bash. Tim, you want to?
No, it's not. No, it's not.
I think it's about time we took our rose-tinted glasses off as Palace fans, because I think if you're going to start a squad, start with your keeper. I'm sorry, but Guaita shouldn't be the number 1. He's made too many mistakes. Butland's younger. He's not proactive enough. He's not commanding enough. I certainly don't have an awful lot of confidence in him. Then you look at the defence. Now, I love Klein and I love Ward. I've been some of their biggest supporters. But I'm sick and tired of seeing them, when the keeper has the ball, neither of them making any effort to go forward to bring the team up. They just sit there, so the ball goes backwards and forwards. So there you've got problems. The midfield are practically non-existent. I feel so sorry for Decore.
Boys and lady, we're doing the squad here, and we're still reviewing the Spurs game. You're stealing all my thunder for later on. Leave VG alone. Leave Ayew alone. We're doing that later on. So Harry Kane scored 2 of Tottenham's 4 second-half goals after they eventually cruised to a Premier League win over Crystal Palace. Kane's towering close-range header over Perisic's cross was the first time Spurs had led 1-0 in a game since October the 15th. Ian's point exactly. If you needed something, come to Sellers, we'll give it to you free of charge. They conceded the first goal in all 10 games in between. He then drilled in a low second into the bottom corner from Ryan Gill's pass. The England captain has now scored 264 goals for Spurs, only 2 behind Jimmy Greaves. Oh, do you know what? I'm so frustrated. You know, Joe, you go, mate, because I can't be bothered to read any more of this stuff out.
If you want a stat, it was a great one that they gave out on the telly. The last 14 London derbies, Spurs haven't won a game.
Oh, really?
They haven't won. It's the first one, the 15th one, 15th London derby. So, like you say, if you haven't won a game, yesterday, if you're playing crap, come to Selhurst. Seriously, it's shocking.
It's the only thing we're good at the minute. It really is the only thing we're good at the minute. And you know, I saw another stat saying we haven't won a Wednesday night game since the 90s or something. And I just thought, I know you won't get many of them, but nevertheless, and you just think, well, yeah, of course, yeah. I know I was surprised they said 1990s. I thought they meant 1890s. It is just ludicrous, but you know, I suppose we need to move on now to the next item on the agenda, Nick. But
in a minute, I was just going to finish off. Okay, we're going to do the Southampton game next. But before we do that, before we move on, I just want to. This is going to be relevant for later in the show. This is Patrick Vieira's reaction at the end of this Spurs game. Palace, whose boss Patrick Vieira called for more consistency before the game, and he should have let it at break. Lloris denied Ayew. Joachim Andersen smashed a shot wide from long range, and Michael Elise had one shot deflected wide. They had 7 efforts in a row between Kane's efforts on the 24th and 44th minute. Palace, who have actually dropped to 12th, actually had more chances in the second half. But first, again, the frustration thing here is the manager's response. All he talks about is we need to find consistency. Well, hang on a minute, okay? And we're going to do the manager in great detail shortly, folks, okay? The consistency has to start at his office door. It has to start. In my opinion, you know, I'm sitting here asking you questions, you lot, but my opinion is it's got to start with Vieira, okay? Is he out of his depth? We're coming on to it later in the show. What do you think out of the chat Facebook, man? There's millions of comments in there. Okay, it's probably as busy in there as I've seen for ages. Mark, I can see yours. Paul, I can see yours. Chloe, I can see yours as well. We will come to them later on. I'll tell you what, Theresa, very briefly, if you like, take care of the Southampton game, and then we're going to get into the meat and drink of the actual show itself.
Okay, so we all went in optimistic yesterday, thinking, oh, we could have another good cup run, but unfortunately it wasn't meant to be. And I got I had to review this game, which meant I had to watch it again. Yay. Anyway, first half, we had 5 shots on target on the first half. Within 5 minutes, Zaha shot a goal, and following a beautiful pass from Hughes, unfortunately he didn't convert. Then we had what could be considered a big penalty shout, considering there was VAR in the stadium, but that was discounted. And in about 13 minutes in, Edouard scored a lovely goal following a beautiful pass from Zaha, who threaded it through to Edouard, who slotted it in the back of the net. We had 3 more chances in that half. Ayew hit the bar. Decore and Zaha missed chances. And then, of course, there's that freak Southampton goal by that freak. I can't stand him, Ward-Prowse. A completely irrational dislike for that guy. Now, with that graphic that you can see, everyone said, oh, Gaeta should have saved it. But I was in Lower Holmesdale and I watched it and it bounced. And literally, there was a gust of wind that took it into that corner. He didn't plan that goal. The ball bounced and it bounced over Gaeta. And that was my take on that goal. Anyway, second half, we came out. We actually made subs, didn't we? Early-ish in the second half, and after about 20 minutes, double subs. Luca and Mateta came on for Decore and Edouard. And then, of course, about 6 minutes later, we had that dreadful goalkeeping error by Vicente Gaeta, who is way out of the box.
What was he doing out there?
Being casual. Thought he had time to get a pass off and didn't realise Southampton, whoever it was, I can't remember who it was, came running onto him and stole the ball. Happy Christmas, happy belated Christmas present. And then we had another substitution in 7. Schlupp and Eze came on and Hughes and Ward went off. And the only other thing of importance in that half was about the 80th minute, there was a really good appeal, a really good shout for a Wilf penalty where he was bundled over in the box. But thanks to Darren Bond, our lovely referee for the evening, that wasn't given either, and VAR didn't even look at it.
Joe?
Yeah, I obviously I didn't know Theresa was doing that, but I made a few notes as well. And obviously, you know, mine are, she's gone and done it properly, and mine were just completely full of sarcasm. But I just put at least say so. The Edouard goal, Anderson literally punted it to Wilf. Great bit of control, but he lost it, and then as he's falling over, punted it again straight at Edouard, smashed it at Edouard, and the pace of it. I mean, the control was unbelievable. And then just to run through and bang, smash it left-footed under the goalkeeper, fantastic. Like, it's exactly what a forward should do. You know, like a proper forward's going to do that. And then Elise, a little bit of good work with Elise and Wilf out on the left-hand side. Elise crosses into the penalty area, and Ayew clears the danger via the by the crossbar. I mean, I don't know how he missed that. I really don't know. But anyway, like I say, it's not there. And so the first Southampton goal, people can watch this after, and I must have watched this about 30 times today. If you watch Ward, he gets a shout because he's about to go and then literally pulls his head down. Watch it. Yep. And then when he's picking the ball out the net, he's standing there going like that. What the fuck? What's going on? I'm telling you now, he got a call. Guaita, this is the other thing about Guaita. He's 6'2", whatever he is. When he stands up in the air, when he stands with his hands up in the air, he's 8 foot. If he comes out for anything, he can legit, as long as he doesn't do a Willie Schumacher, he can legit smash any player on that field, drop the ball, get a free kick. He bottled it against Kane. He bottled it yesterday, and then he absolutely messed up for the second goal. Sam Johnson must be going like, I've got to be playing next week. He's dog shit. And if he doesn't, then it's like you can't just keep giving players. Look, we're out of the cup. We need the money. We're going to be struggling, I think, in the next 3-4 weeks after this run of games. We always turn around and say we should beat Bournemouth, we should beat Fulham, we should beat this team, we should beat that team. We haven't earned the right this year to beat anybody, and I thought we were not lucky, but we did play the game against Bournemouth, but against Fulham. Well, you know, we stood there and we just watched an ex-Arsenal and Chelsea player, Willian, just rinse us. I mean, it made us look stupid. And playing players out of position, you know, putting Wardy on the left-hand side. I genuinely feel sorry for him because he's taking masses of flack. But it is so frustrating. And like I said, against Fulham and against Spurs, to literally not start those games at home and try and chase those, we've sent the forwards. I don't get it. I literally don't get it. Whether he's trying to make some easy dough and get sacked and then see out his 3 years, you know, we've got to give him money for another 3 years or whatever. I just don't. Just absolutely. And you saw a classic example. Sorry, let me just rant one little bit. So I've been saying, our players, we don't shut down any other players. Adam Armstrong shut down Guaita. If you watch him, he made 30 yards in just a few seconds, shutting down. What happens? Rubbish first touch, shit himself, got robbed, and then he literally walked the ball in the net.
I'm going to disagree with you there, Joe.
It's rubbish.
I'm going to disagree with you there. Mateta harasses goalkeepers. He did it in the second half yesterday. Was running at their goalkeeper who sliced it out for throw-ins. Did that a couple of times. But also,
but what I'm saying is that's at the end, no, Theresa.
Wait. The point that I was going to make before you interrupted with your little rant was what I wanted to know was why was none of our academy players on the bench, which is what happened last season. Where are our young boys? Why isn't Malcolm Abowie?
Kimani Gordon was on the bench. Kimani Gordon was on the bench.
Well, one. Where's the
With no chance of playing, though, was he? I mean, let's be honest.
Why are we not playing these guys?
Hang on, one at a time. Ian, you go next, mate.
Right, sorry, yeah. It's a perfectly great, good point, both of you, actually. You know, and I think Jordan Ayew, for all his lack of quality in front of goal, you cannot do. He'll be one of the first names on my team sheet solely because of the effort he puts in, and he will be one of those ones. And he has been in the Fulham game, in the Tottenham game, the only one getting tackles in a lot of the time and shutting stuff down. But moving on to, you know, the subs and the players, I think it's about, are we playing the right formation for a start? Okay. He is so hung up on playing Ayew, Wilf, Eze and Elise, right, flair players, that the formation and the team cannot sustain it. Poor Decore, now I don't think he's had a roaring start to his career, but against Fulham and against Tottenham, he was probably our best player for a start, certainly when he carried the ball. The one player that we miss is Gallagher. Right, he would have hassled him and Decore in that midfield. You could sustain that four.
There was chemistry, wasn't there?
Yeah,
between Gallagher, Elise, Eze, there was chemistry.
Yeah, but the thing is when you've got flair players, you have to. The rest of the team have to do the dirty work for them, and the rest of our team ain't doing the dirty work for them because they. But 4 players out of an outfield 10 is 40% of the side doing bugger all. And again, you've got to question Vieira. This is where I would agree with Tim, is that it's a different scenario than we had with Hodgson. Okay, we do play better football, you know, in large parts than we ever did with the Hodgson side. And Hodgson never made substitutions, but but Vieira does. But I would question why he's putting the same tired old players on. I mean, against Fulham, it was a great chance to bring Abowie on for 10 minutes, 15 minutes before the end. But no, he bought on Hughes, he bought on Riedeveld and Luca. What
Maybe
more?
it's to showcase him to get a better price.
Sorry?
Maybe it's to showcase Luca and Riedeveld so we can get a better price for him.
Well, you can't get better than 0, can you? Well, you can get better than 0, but you're not going to get better than 0. Let's be honest. There's a lot of dead wood in that squad.
Right.
And that's why I go back to the Tottenham game.
Are we talking about Wilf later as well?
I'm pleased that the 4-0 result has probably brought it to the surface rather than a number of 1-0, you know, goal losses, because things need to change. We need to bring some new blood in.
Joel, very quickly, and then I'm going to bring Tim in.
Yeah, just quickly. Sorry, I said to you, I said probably 2 years ago that the player that we would miss and we would only appreciate him when he's gone, right, is MacArthur. MacArthur is the only person in that for 10 years who has literally marshalled that midfield. He's box to box, kicking people, harassing people, runs his bits off. And I reckon at 33 years old, he would still, but that's what he needs. Decore is not, he's not Premier, he's not Jimmy Mack's standard at the moment. It's such a shame that his career's probably finished for injuries. He's a good player, but Decore needs help. He just needs help, and he ain't getting it. That's why he's getting overrun.
On that note, Joe, one of my mates bumped into MacArthur yesterday after the match, and he said to him, "What's going on? We need a leader in the midfield." And MacArthur said, "Yeah, I know."
But there's no one there barking at anybody. No one at all. And Macca used to do that. He used to scream and shout at everybody. And you said it earlier, Ian, about the balls being intercepted. Jimmy Mack bangs the ball at you. He made our players better at controlling the ball, because if he passed it to you, he made you work to control it. He made them better players. And now I think we're regressing when it comes to control. You look at the times that we lose the ball. Our first touch is 99% of the time dreadful. And like I said, there's something toxic where people just don't look like they're. Sorry, Nick. Go on, mate.
About 10 minutes ago, Tim, I was going to come to you, okay? And Tim, your views. Let's hear your views on anything that the guys have just been speaking about.
Well, first of all, I think we all should realise that the academy has got nothing to do with supplying team players to the first team. It's purely money making for the club, because we don't get big enough gates to get enough money into the club. So the academy don't expect players to come through, because it's patently not happening. We don't have a leader on the pitch, as has already been said. And I'm sorry, all these flair players are great. But as far as I'm concerned, Elise and Ezzy, to a certain extent, they're lazy. I mean, he has like one good pass a game. Every other game, he might do something for a minute, Elise. But everyone bangs on about him. It's not enough. I'm sorry. And our strikers, this is the other thing.
Hold your, keep your powder dry, T, because I'm coming to that now. I'm going to just finish up on the FA Cup. So Palace missed out on their opportunity to enter the fourth round of the FA Cup. And what worries me now, and we're coming on to it, ladies and gentlemen, is what happens next, because our next run of fixtures ain't pretty. We are now down in 12th place, okay? It's a very confident team in the middle of that table. And you'll see that we are away at Stamford Bridge on Sunday, 15th of January at 2 o'clock. See you there if you're going to be there. Don't forget, I've also alluded to the fact that they've just sandwiched in the home game against Man United on the Wednesday, the 18th of January. That's just 4 days later. Then there's a little matter of on the Saturday, the 21st, at home to Newcastle. Then a few days later, a week later, we're away at Old Trafford in a return game against Man United. Then with Palace Brighton on the 11th of February, subject to the TV, of course, and then Brentford. So all these teams are above us in the league, and we've got to play them, Man United, in the case of Man United, twice, and we've got to play all the rest of them as well. I am distinctly concerned about where we are heading, and I think it was Joe alluded to it a couple of minutes ago, where we're going to be going in the next 6 weeks and how we're going to be looking. Are we looking over our shoulder? Are we facing a relegation battle? Are we in trouble here? Now, you've all tried to get it in at some point during the course of the evening so far. It's 20 to 9 already. Okay, now we're going to talk about what the issues are. Okay, let's start with your midfield, ladies and gents. Okay, your Decore. Poor old Decore. He lost Kouate and Maka. So 2/3 of our regular starting midfield are not available. Okay, they lost Gallagher. So that's 3 out of the 4 of them have gone for whatever reason over the last few months. Okay, and they didn't replace him. Who's responsible for the fact that they didn't replace him? Is that the manager? Is that the board? I think you know that's a board issue. They didn't bring anybody in. So Decore has come in and he's been completely exposed. Okay, you can't have 2 players, as in Eze and Elise, with nobody else holding with Decore. Okay, Decore can't do it all on his own. Sometimes he looks as though he's actually trying to do the job of 2 players. Well, he is. We haven't got anybody holding like Kouate used to do. As far as the front players are concerned, you know, where's Will's best position? Where's Ayu's best position? What about the players playing Joel Ward on the wrong side? Okay, and Klein on one side and Wardy on the other side. You know, even Gay has been a little bit disappointed, and now we can talk about the goalkeeper as well. And you're quite right. Every point made, there's nothing wrong. But Schlupp is no holding midfield, as Mark has just pointed out beautifully and eloquently in the chat. Schlupp is no holding midfield player. He's not a patch on Kouate. He's not a patch going forward on Gallagher. Okay, this is the responsibility. We had 2 transfer windows ago, a great transfer window. Okay, we brought in some quality players. It was let down in the last transfer window. He never, Vieira, and I said it on last week's show, and I got shunned on last week's show. For those of you that weren't on it last week and you didn't see the show, I actually made a point by saying I'm concerned that if we don't back the manager in this window, if he's the right manager, by the way, if we don't back the manager in this window, okay, potentially Vieira could walk. Or with that run of fixtures, I'm coming to you now, T, with that run of fixtures that I've just read out to you over the next 6 weeks, he might not even have a fucking choice. If we lose where are we going to get the next point from? I don't know. Okay. If we lose all 6 of those, okay, if we lose all 6 of those, and I'm talking about we've just lost the last 2, apart from the Bournemouth game, of course. If we lose the next 6, will the board make a decision? Theresa, I'll shut up.
Makes a change, doesn't it? I was going to say, John Texter, what's he done for us? We were so excited when he came in, weren't we? He had just bought Botafogo and everything looks rosy, and we've got Harris and Blitzer that have done nothing. And I think this is a board level. And the other thing is, should we be playing Wolf or should we bench him?
Sell him.
Yeah, I think so. Because during the Southampton game, he had time enough to give it back to the people, like home fans in the Arthur, that were giving it to him, that were winding him up.
I mean, John's just said in the chat that he's Texas put in 85 million, and obviously don't forget that's to finish off the funding of the academy, of course. Right, okay. And the other point, just to let you know, is and it comes from a question from Andrew Adams. And thank you for your questions again this week, Andrew. He said, what was the reasoning for letting Butland go on loan to only warm the bench at Man United? Okay.
Absolutely.
Contracts. We've got a bit of deja vu here. Ian and Bill, definitely a touch of deja vu coming here, because we had this conversation 2 years ago with the squad that was actually running out of contract. Well, we've got it again right now. Pin your ears back. Here we go. Obviously, the Wilfred Zaha scenario, that's not going to be resolved until we A, sell him in this window and get something for him, or B, he lets his contract run down in June and off he goes. Okay, so that's going to happen. Also, contracts are up this year. Okay, this is why it's absolutely imperative that we get this right now. Jeffrey Schlupp, some of you may say, no loss. Aging Nathaniel Klein, Luka Milivojevic, aging Joel Ward, Nathan Ferguson, he's a player that used to play at Palace, apparently. James Tompkins and James MacArthur. All of those are post 30 years old, apart from Ferguson, of course, who will never see it.
Mine's only 30.
Yeah, 30 and over. So it's wholesale changes. It's wholesale changes. Joe, you wanted to make a point?
No, I don't want to make a point.
He was just saying, gone.
I want to make a point on because we were talking about Vieira, and I just want to read or paraphrase a soundbite after yesterday's loss, and he said, "Maturity is important, experience is important. The work we are doing every day is important, and me, the manager, and the staff are being more demanding of the players. If we keep demanding on the players week after week, they will be where we want them to be." And then I just put underneath, in the Championship. Because that's where we deserve to be at the moment. There's, like I say, something wrong. And he also said that our mindset has to be better. Now, I don't buy that. These are people that are earning millions of pounds. They earn multi-millions throughout a career. They should be more professional. And also, within the club, we must have more than one shrink in case 2 or 3 players turn up one day.
You got the rest of that quote?
Say again?
Have you got the rest of that mindset quote? Because it's important.
Well, no, I haven't. It's at the beginning. It's at the very beginning of that very small soundbite that he gave yesterday. But you can all read it. It's all on the Palace website.
He actually went on to say, "I don't know whether they're going to get the mindset right in the next couple of weeks or the next few months." Well, that's not good enough.
Yeah, but
You're the manager.
See, this is the other thing as well. Apart from, what did we have? 2 players went to the World Cup, Anderson and Ayew. I think that's all we had, right? So, quite literally, our team have been together right the way through the World Cup. So they had the week off before the World Cup, then the World Cup off. So they've had a mid-season break for the first time, and it looks like that we've played 40 games already. That's what it looks like to me. The effort is just so poor, and again, it's down to mindset. I mean, you know, look at Spurs. They've been absolutely rubbish. Had a run of terrible results. Come and play us. Score 1 goal. Score 4 goals in 17 minutes. It's just, I could never see us doing that. When was the last time we scored? We did anything like that?
So what's changed from last year when we were in the beautiful FA Cup run? What's changed? Apart from we haven't got Gallagher.
No, it's more than that. It's the midfield. You're quite right, Theresa. What's changed is the midfield massively.
It's Gallagher.
It's Gallagher.
It's Gallagher. Okay. We should go back in for him.
It's Macca. Okay, so right, let's do that first. Ian just said raised the point. Tim, do we go back in for Gallagher now when he's not even cutting it up at Chelsea?
He started today.
He did.
They got 10 injuries.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and they lost 4-0. Tim,
he's getting slaughtered.
We need to do something. Yes, I mean it's not just that. The problem we've got is it's not just the midfield. Every line you could say we need extra players, but getting back to Vieira, I've been saying it for a few weeks now. Questions need to be asked because he's got what he's got, but it's his complete lack of the ability, it seems, to get a team up for a game. There's no kind of urgency from him. There's no kind of get at them. You know, I think he shot his bolt, basically. I just don't think we've gone backwards. You know, we keep being told we've got great players. We've got Elise, we've got all these flair players, we've got all these amazing players, but the football we're playing is worse. And it's the basic mistakes. It's not even beaten by the better teams. It's glaring mistakes in each and every game from multiple players that comes from mindset, that comes from concentration, and that comes from the manager.
Ian, you want to respond?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I agree that the focus is now on PV, and it is for him to change it. Someone put a great quote on, a quote I often use is, if you do the same thing and get the same results, you know, you're going to expect, you do the same thing time and time again, you're going to expect the same results. That's what we said about Hodgson. And maybe, but he's trying, and it goes back to what Joe was saying, he's desperately hoping that our flair players are going to get that mindset. Well, they ain't at the minute. And the way you get them players to get the mindset is to give them a massive kick up the arse. Not, you know, in a false sense of security that they're going to be on the team sheet. Don't worry about it. Decore and Schlapp will be behind you doing all your work for you.
Yeah, but surely what we need to be doing is route one, straight up the middle.
Yeah, but you can't do that. It's very hard to do that with one player up front, and that's what happens when we're playing four flair players. It's always with a single player up front, which is why Edouard never gets a start, because he's used to playing in the front two. He's far better in the front two. Mateta's far better in the front two. They only played Mateta up front because he's lanky. You know, it's just ridiculous. We do not have a concept. It seems to me incomprehensible that we have a whole club that doesn't understand systems and players that we've got. Now, touching on, before I go full rant, touching on Tim's thing about Patrick Vieira as well. I get that a lot of it is down to him to change, but also how much backing has he really had since he's been here, as far as transfers are concerned. He's inherited a lot of players. Okay, we got rid of a lot. Okay, and we brought players in, but how many were down to him anyway? But also, there's still you've named seven, eight players that are dead wood, and it's the key is if we bring players in, they have to be Vieira's players, and then Vieira's painted himself into a corner. He has no get out. But we've got to back him. As Chloe said earlier, we're one of the lowest spenders. We're trying to do everything on the cheap. We have an academy to allegedly bring players through. But where are they? I'd love to see Phillips. Phillips has been great. At least he'll put a tackle in the middle of the park. You know, you want kids. Ebiowi, he looks dynamite. He's at least direct and he will run at people. As Joel said earlier, Eze is currently getting the ball. Elise is currently getting the ball. running into the corner, looking up, trying to do a flick, and then knock it backwards. No one's actually driving it. I use the only one that drives into the box. There you go. I've said it. You know,
So-
there's so many things, but for me, it's down to the board at the minute.
So what do we think about the rumours about Danny Ings then?
I'd take him.
Is he going to fit?
At least he can play one up front because he's used to playing one up front. And that's the difference between Mateta and Edouard. They're not used to playing one up front as a sole striker.
Well, the thing
and
is,
he can make his own goals as well. He can hold the ball up.
Joe, would you take Danny Ings?
Nah, just a plaster to try and cover a gash. I just is it Adara Mola? You know, the kid that played for us, that came on and played a game and played really, really well, can play at left back, left midfield, attacking down the left hand side. Where's he gone? I mean, he was good enough to get a game. I don't know whether it was a cup game or whatever, but it was good enough to get a game, and all of a sudden we never see him again. The thing about I need to go back against Edouard. So his first game last year was against Spurs. Came on, we won 3-0, scored 2 goals. It's been a substitute ever since. I don't understand that. I literally don't understand that. I think there's something there. There's definitely a player manager relationship failure there, because every time he comes on, he scores a goal. I mean, he's mugging. He literally is mugging Vieira, really. I mean, mugged him yesterday, and then what happens? Rather than just keep him on, try and get him to score another one, he subs in for Mateta, you know, who can't really score. I like Mateta, I really do, but I mean, but I need to go on the midfield, Nick. I don't think. I said to you, I sent you a text the other day. I said I finally come to the point now where I don't think we can play Wilf, Eze, Elise together. I think they are too much of a luxury, because Wilf chases back every now and then, but only when he's really pissed off. Eze never chases back. Elise never chases back. Schlupp never chases back. Look at Schlupp. Schlupp is the jogger of our team. He's amazing. How on earth he's not been called out? Don't they wear these vests? And then afterwards, on a Monday, the geezer that does all the data goes up, just pulls him in the office and goes, "You're absolutely shit, mate. What are you doing?"
Well, sorry, Joe. There was a stat. I meant to say this earlier. There was a stat on the Tottenham game saying that we were 20th in the league for average distance covered in matches.
That's what I'm saying. We are bottom on almost every single stat. We are near the bottom. If not, we are at the bottom. And that's that. I don't understand that. These are professional athletes, the guys that should be able to run, sprint, cover, you know, whatever it is, 8-10 miles during 90 minutes or kilometres or whatever. I really don't know. The Vieira thing, I said to my mate yesterday, we had a big thing about it yesterday, and I just said, you know what? At the moment, and it won't be long, 6 games, like you've called it earlier, Nick, either he walks or he'll be sacked. And we need to pray that Sean Dyche doesn't get a job between now and then. Because if Sean Dyche comes in, he will fight our players. And I think that's what we need. We've got some of these rude boys, and they're just going, "I ain't doing this, I ain't doing that." And they go, "Come here, you bosh." Because that's what happens in the training. They all fight each other. There's fights every day in training, all the time. And I just think he is just a big, rough, tough fella. And I don't know whether Patrick is just so calm and collected and trying to think about things. But I just think the club needs that someone needs to come in and basically beat our club up from the top to the bottom. Because I think we're going to. I think in a month, I think we're going to be. The stands will be toxic even more, because the way we're playing at the moment, we are not getting anything against Newcastle. We're definitely not getting anything against the massively resurgent Man United. We won't get anything against the big clubs anymore. I'm telling you now, we've lost that. We've lost that. I don't know, whatever it is, the je ne sais quoi. There's nothing about our club that at the moment it just seems to be on a downer, and it's gone from obviously going from the pitch to the stands, and you got fans fighting each other in the stands out the back. You've got fans arguing with each other. You got, it's just it's it's not toxic 100%, but I'm telling you now, 6 games time, if we are, can you see us? But I'm just saying this. It's a question to all the people in the thing. Do you see us beating Brighton at the moment?
No way.
Imagine that.
No chance.
Tim, your views on Sean Dyche? Would you take him?
We need something like that because I mean, this is. I think he's a great for clubs in our position with clubs with the kind of resources that we've got financially. I think he'd be a great fit. And this is where this is the problem I have with Vieira, and it's exactly as Gel says. We can all see it. We can all see what the issue is with the flair players. We can see what's gone wrong, but he doesn't seem to be able to. Or if he can, he's choosing to do nothing about it. Now, it's a very dangerous game if he's doing that on purpose to push that he needs more money spent. But it's not just under Vieira. You look, it comes back, like Theresa said, it's the board. Even when Hodgson, for the 4 years that Hodgson was our manager, how little did the board spend? They didn't. The only time they spent is when Textor came in, and we got Gahey, Anderson, Elise, which was great buys. But that's it in what 6-7 years that we really bought. You can't sustain a club like that. So ultimately, it comes back to the board.
Did we miss Mitchell yesterday?
Say again.
Did we miss Tyrek Mitchell yesterday?
We've been missing him for over a season.
Yeah.
He's not, but he's
been very.
When I was on here last season, I was said that he was going backwards, and I'm worried about him going backwards. You know, and he's another Aaron Wan-Bissaka. He shone brightly.
Talking of AWB, are we having him back?
No, I don't want him back. He's another lackadaisical player. So lazy. That's why he got dropped at Man United. He moonwalks backwards over there. At least he actually sprinted for us because he had 15,000 fans in his ear geeing him on. And that's what got him the move. And I feared that. I hope I'm wrong with Mitchell because I think Mitchell's a better defender without a shadow of a doubt, a far better defender than AWB. But we got to stop going back for old players. We get if Tim's said the right thing. The whole point of the academy is to move players on, get them in, blood them, let them blossom, and then move them on. But Tim's right. That's not happening. That was part of PV's remit, wasn't it, to bring kids through? It's not happening.
But I feel the same way about bringing in Danny Ings. Why are we not scouting for younger, exciting players? Why are we not getting the young guys in? Why are we going for, he's doing well at Aston Villa, so let's just get him in?
You mean like the kids we bought from Derby and then loaned out?
Yeah.
What's the point? It's just, yeah.
Joe, you want to
why
make
is
a point?
Ferguson still on our payroll?
He won't be. His contract's up. He won't be.
Good.
Made for life, though, isn't he?
Yeah.
From what I understand, the wage bill is almost maxed out, and the only way that we are going to, let's just say that we really, really badly need Gallagher, right? Really badly need a player like Gallagher. And Gallagher's going to cost us maybe 30 million and 120 grand a week, at least 100,000 a week. So straight away in that first year, I mean, most teams now are going skint, so they won't pay up front. I think we only do that if Wilf goes. Because the only way we can afford to pay wages like that is if we take one off the payroll and then give it to another. And then you have to make a conscious decision. Do you want the best player that we've ever had in our club's entire history replaced by, I was a year, 18 months ago, I was going, get rid of him. And then we've just been saying for years and years and years that if he don't go by a certain time, he's going to stay. And if he don't leave last year, he's going to stay. And if he don't leave this January, he's going to stay. What is Wilf worth to us? Is he worth a Gallagher? And all of a sudden, I've got loads of mates that follow Chelsea, and they're like, he's crap. You can have him. whatever you give us, we will take. He's only playing because they've got like 10 or 12 players that are, it's got some big long-term injuries. That's the only reason he's playing. Chelsea's just literally, unless you are a John Terry or a Mason Mount, you're not going to get game time. So
they signed him up on a contract to stop him going on the cheap, knowing that we'll come back in for him, essentially.
Yeah, of course. But we can only afford him. We can only afford him if we'll find out, or one of the big earners.
And I think with a lot of the players we've mentioned that are going to go as well at the end of the season, a lot of them are the higher earners of the club as well. So
actually, Ian, I'm going to correct you on that. And if you don't mind, I'm going to jump in there. Okay, we know that we'll say our highest earner. Who's our second and who's our third highest earner in the club, guys? And none of them are on that list. Actually, one of them wasn't.
Luca?
Yeah.
Correct?
Are you?
And sorry?
Are you? Is it not Jordan? Are you?
No.
It's the goalkeeper.
Wow. Get rid.
So there's I mean, if you remember the issue we had before getting rid of the highest earners, Benteke, centre half from Liverpool.
Sacco.
Okay, so we worked really hard to get all those down, and we've replaced them on that sort of money. Okay, not quite as much as that, but with Milivojevic and Guaita, and that's what's stopping the club investing in new players. And so Milivojevic's contract is up in June, so hopefully they'll be able to move him on. Where do we go, Gel?
There is another reason why we can't literally start doing a Chelsea and spending 200 million quid, is because we have to pay for a brand new stand that isn't really going to benefit our club. I mean, they go, oh yeah, we're going to make another 15 million quid a year. I mean, put the season tickets up by a third. You know what I mean? You say, I don't get it. We go to Crystal Palace, it's there. We can make loads of money if we move up there. But what we want to do is build in a dilapidated, try and renovate a dilapidated stadium when we can really take half the amount of. No, I love our stadium, but it is
characterful.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't know how we've passed the safety certificates, because from what I heard a couple of years ago, that the Croydon Council didn't want to renew the fire certificates for the main stand. So we've got to spend like 150 to 200 million pounds on that stand when we could build a stadium for less than that.
Oh, it'd be like Brighton. Yay.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. We've got to get into the 21st century somehow. That's what's going to happen. We need to earn money.
Can we just use plexiglass instead of real glass? That'll bring half of it down, won't it, surely?
My biggest concern at the moment is we're investing in the academy that's not bearing fruit. They have got the ring fence money, okay, for the stand. I wish they'd put all of that on the back burner. They say that you need 2 players for every position on the pitch. Well, quite frankly, at the moment, we haven't got the first 11, let alone the backup 11, and we can. I just read out the list of players that are out of contract. Okay, they need replacing, and they need replacing in the summer window.
I agree, but I mean, it is chicken and egg. Nodes was a famous one for saying this. Saying, well, you need to build the infrastructure before you build the team, and then changed it to you need to build the team to bring the people in to build the infrastructure. Only those that get bankrolled can do both at the same time, and it always flips one season to the other. If you're playing badly, then it's the team that needs the money. If you're playing well, then it's the infrastructure that needs the money. If it's ring fence, it's ring fence, fine. But going back to what we've been saying, is that's whole point of putting £20 million into that academy, buying all this young talent. Where's Scott Banks? All these players that were supposed to be, all these other clubs were after, haven't even been given a chance. Not been given a chance and then found not to be, any good. They're not even getting 10 bloody minutes.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's a travesty.
Look, Parish said it in that recent interview. Potentially there may be one purchase, but if there's going to be anything done, it's loan deals.
Correct.
That says it all.
They're hoping we don't go down. They're hoping we stay up by the skin of our teeth, so they can get extra money in, get all those players, and so we don't panic buy. Let's be honest. But then even more reason to put pressure on PV to change the system and make us harder to beat. Because at the minute
he won't be there then, Ian. If he doesn't get backed in this window, he won't be here. Even if we get 4 wins in the next 4 games, okay, he won't be here.
Right.
He will.
At this point, all scenarios are possible.
And yeah, I got shunned at last week when I mentioned the fact that the only reason Patrick Vieira won't walk is because he's on a good contract. Okay, he may be shoved before he does walk. Joe, you wanted to make a point?
Yeah, I'll just quickly. Does anyone know when we've got Everton? The second. Have we played Everton twice yet? We haven't, have we? We haven't played them at our place, have we?
Hold on, have a look.
It's so Palace. It doesn't matter. I'd sooner play Arsenal, to be honest, because at least they will be up for it. And that we're an odd team in that regard. We should be. We've got the quality to beat the majority, probably anyone other than the top 8 teams. We should have a more than average chance of beating them.
Yeah, probably your point is we're playing those 8 teams in the next few weeks.
Yeah, but then we may pick up and everyone's going, oh, it's all not so bad then after all. But then we'll play bottom of the table, that have got have got the cleaner playing, and the cleaner will score a hat-trick against us because we're just stroking the ball around thinking we can lord it.
22nd of April.
26th of April.
22nd.
So they're in the doo-doo as well, aren't they, Everton at the moment? So I think that I really hope that because they're in the middle of like some £1.5 billion rebuild of their brand new stadium, which is a really good YouTube watch, by the way. If you go on it looks amazing at the moment. And I just can't see that we've got the heart to fight people like that when they've got so much to lose. I really don't know. I'm just on a bit of a downer at the moment with everything to do with the club. We've got no one coming out giving the chairman coming out and just like he used to. Do you know what I mean? He just doesn't. He just a little bit of social media and that's it. It's tough times at the moment being a Palace fan.
Did you see Mark Callaghan's point just a second ago?
But it's always a hard time being a Palace fan, isn't it? That's why we're Palace fans. Would you rather be a Brighton fan? Charlton fan? Millwall fan?
Please, Jesus.
So we just have to do the Palace thing, don't we? And
I think Theresa, I think Mark summed it up in the chat. He said, we can't afford to buy. We don't have a strong enough squad to sell. The academy players are all loaned out, and Ebioe is going to be another one of those shortly. He's going to go to Hull because of his connections with his previous manager. We won't play them anyway. Only option is a few loan deals to try and get us over the line. I'm struggling to see us get over that line. I know we're in a good position. How many points are we on now? 20, 21, 22, is it? 22. We are in a fairly decent position, but it's a worry. We are in a difficult time, and I'm concerned about that list of players that's out of contract. I'm concerned. I mean, if you were Zaha walking off the pitch yesterday afternoon, what would you think to yourself? Okay, that was my last.
I just had another 135 grand at the club. Thank you very much.
That's my last opportunity as silverware with the club that I love. Okay, now it's time to go. And don't forget, for 2 or 3 weeks now, he's been allowed to speak to European clubs anyway, and come to some sort of pre-contract agreement. I mean, there was talk about Barcelona in the week as well. It wouldn't surprise me if something like that did happen. Ladies and gentlemen out in Facebook land, I know it's been a doom and gloom show, but I did warn you on social media. I did warn you on Twitter. If you wanted pink and fluffy this evening, you're watching the wrong podcast. Okay, you need to go and play with one of the other Palace players. We will tell you how it is. It's not happy days at Sellers Park. Jill.
So Lee Lockwood just turned around and said 6 more wins. Usually it's 40 points that we have to go for. There's a fella called Bob who a lot of people know in social media, and he always says he counts the wins down. But I can't see us getting. I can't see where 6 more wins are coming from. How many games have we played so far? Is it 19?
I don't even think we're halfway yet, are we? Yeah, we might just be halfway now.
Can we get 6 more? And we've got to do it away from home, haven't we, as well? Because all the games that we're having at the moment, we're just losing for fun at home at the moment. So.
Yeah, Joe, Nadine's just made a point in this. You don't actually need 40 points. 36 points is normally more than enough. So maybe 5.
I don't know. I think it could be tight. What do you reckon, Theresa? Do you reckon we'll get 6 wins?
Yeah, of course we will.
Who against?
Chelsea. I think we'll do Chelsea. I think we'll do Newcastle at home as well. To be honest.
Wow.
That's my prediction.
Well, I hope you're right. I know, it goes back.
Right.
I think I'll shut up.
I will make a point, Theresa. If we beat Chelsea and Newcastle, I will take you personally out for a curry.
Did you all hear that?
Yeah, and I'm putting that out on there. If we get
but he's driving it round.
I will take you for a curry.
Tim. Uncle Ben's.
I just want to know if that works out and Theresa does the lottery. I want to know the numbers.
Wow.
It's not gin, it's vanilla vodka. Just saying.
Yeah, the trouble is you're on your 2nd bottle, though, love. Listen to those predictions.
Tim,
what do you expect? Ask me to review the Southampton game. I had to have something to get me through it.
You did have an excellent job. Ladies and gentlemen out on Facebook land, I do hope you found this, if nothing else, a little bit therapeutic. I know that we are in for a sticky time. I want to end this show, all 4 of you, on something positive. I'm going to come to you last, Joel, because I can't imagine what you're going to come up with. Lionsy, I'm coming to you first.
Yeah. What are you going to ask me then?
Positive.
Oh, you just want me to come up with something positive?
Yeah.
Well, there's 19 games left to the end of the season.
Is that it?
Well, I mean, can I come up with something positive? Yeah, I don't think it's as bad as we're all making out. I think a positive is the fact that we had that heavy defeat with Tottenham against Tottenham, and also gone out the cup. You'd like to think it's going to shake the tree, and things will maybe change at least. If it's not for the better, it's not for the better. But half of the time, if you read between the lines of what we're all saying, we want to see some changes. We want to see some reaction, whether it be from the players, whether it be from the board, whether it be from the manager. And that hasn't happened yet. So that's, but I'd like to think that's going to happen. So that's a positive.
You're on mute, Nick.
Tim, give me a positive to end the show.
Yeah. Survived another year, and it's good to get Joe and Ian back on the show.
Do you know what? I couldn't agree with you more. Theresa, one from you, and then Joe, I'm coming to you.
Okay, I took my nieces yesterday to the football, and they still want season tickets.
Oh,
they want me to buy them season tickets.
Good girls.
You buy me one as well.
Yeah, I'm made of money.
My brother, who's been a lifelong Chelsea fan, rocked up at Sellers Park yesterday with his daughter. Okay, both wearing Palace shirts. Don't ask me. I have no idea. Joe.
What?
Something positive.
Something positive. I've got a couple of days off next week.
Yeah, a couple of days off last week as well.
Who's going to Chelsea away? I'm going.
Yeah. I'll be there. Right. My positive, and Tim's already nicked it, okay, is it's great to have both Jill and Ian back on the show. It's something we're going to need to do more of during the season, boys. Okay, I'm sorry, Ian. I know you're semi-retired. Tough shit, okay? I call the tunes here, and you're coming back on more and more, please. We miss you, and we really do miss you. Ladies and gentlemen, out in Facebook land, I know it's been a tough watch this evening, and I make no excuses for that. It's something we needed to get off our chests, all of us, okay? And I think it's we've got a difficult few weeks. If we can come over, if we can get to the end of February and we're still clear of the relegation zone, that's got to be a positive with that run of fixtures that we've got. Come on, we can do this. Sneak a couple of draws, maybe one of Teresa's fluky wins. You never know, against Newcastle or Chelsea. You never know. We've done it at Stamford Bridge before. I think Benteke and Zaha. Okay,
done it twice at Man City,
and we've done it twice at Man City, but we haven't got them in the next few weeks. I know
all we need at Stamford Bridge are the fans to do nothing but woo Gallagher for the whole 90 minutes.
Yeah.
He's one of our own. He's one of our own.
Yeah, he's one of our own. Yeah, yeah, and not fight each other. Of course, that would be also.
Yeah, not don't scare the natives with the flashbangs.
Yeah, that was funny. Oh,
that one in the against Fulham scared the absolute granny out of everyone. There was two, but one of them was super loud.
It was right under the eaves. That was fantastic. Well, that's what we need. Maybe that'll kickstart the team.
Absolutely. Guys, Tim, Theresa, Jill, Ian, thank you for joining me. Ladies and gentlemen out in Facebook land, thank you for all your comments. I'm going to go back and sit here for the next hour and read every single one of them. Thank you for joining us. We will be back again. I believe it's next Monday because I'm not hosting. Ian is because I'm working on Sunday, I think Sunday and Monday. But we'll be back sometime next week with another show. Hopefully with 3 points in the bag. Hopefully with a possible signing. You never know, something good might happen in the transfer window. I wouldn't hold your breath. But on behalf of myself and the entire Red and Blue Review team, take care. God bless. Good night, everybody. Thank you. Good night.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night,
Up the
everyone.
Palace.
Happy New Year.